I've been talking with students from the University of Manchester about the Gospel of Mary. The Rylands fragment is one of only 2 surviving papyri to document the ancient Greek Gospel. We're incredibly fortunate to have this fragment at the John Rylands Library because it's arguably the most important surviving document which gives evidence of the debate about women in early Christianity. In this fragment of the Gospel, the apostles Peter and Levi are arguing about whether they ought to accept the teachings which Jesus gave in secret to their companion Mary.
Because it's evident in wider Christian debates that actually there is a whole discussion going on in early Christianity about whether women's voices should be afforded authority in the early church. And Mary and Peter get taken up as the symbolic figureheads of that position.
Peter says, "Did thy Saviour, when he was questioned concerning these matters, speak privily to a woman, and not openly?"
Well, Mary has just finished telling the disciples that she's gathered with a vision that Jesus has come to her and has spoken these things to her. And Peter steps up and says that this can't be true because Jesus would never pick a woman over all of the men that are gathered.
See, I think this is a really unfair characterisation of Peter, and I think like generations of scholars have picked up on Peter as like the alpha Christian chauvinist.
When you read the story of Mary arguing with Peter, is that it is actually another man that steps in and defends her. We have Levi who comes in at the end of the story and says, "No, Peter, you are notoriously grumpy and you're just taking it out on Mary."
Levi says to Peter, "Peter, thy angry temper is ever with thee. If the Saviour deemed her worthy, who art thou to set her at naught?"
We do have some other texts. We have one text called the Gospel of Thomas, for example, where Mary also features. And here Peter actually says that she isn't even worthy of life. Women aren't even worthy of life.
So I do think it is important that Mary is a woman because while this is only a small fragment of the Gospel of Mary, the other attested version of the Gospel of Mary, Peter addresses Mary saying that, "I know that Jesus loved you more than any other woman." He addresses her as a woman.
It's very, very easy to view Christianity in its early stages in the same way that we see Christianity today. Today it is an accepted world religion. Back then, it wasn't.
In the ancient world, there's no divide between like politics and religion, between daily life and religion, and Christianity being quite a dangerous religion to be a member of.
The disciples are terrified because they know that Jesus has suffered a horrible death, horrible torture. Mary is the only one who steps forward and isn't worried about this. It seems that we have in the ancient world a situation by different Christian communities using different Christian texts are debating whether women are going to be a voice that carries through and becomes authoritative, or whether it's going to be silenced.
For the rest of my course of the ages of time, I shall find rest in silence. When she had spoken thus, Mary held her peace, for thus far had the Saviour spoken.
For nearly 2,000 years, the Gospel of Mary lay virtually forgotten until it was unearthed in 19th century Egypt. Since its discovery, the lost Gospel has dramatically altered our understanding of the early Christian debate about women's authority. Despite the long silence, Mary's voice now offers a challenge to those who would question a woman's right to speak.